What is going on, fight fans and full-time family? This is going to be a longer formatted video because I don't have time to make a bunch of different videos. I've been working 76 hours a week. I just got a promotion actually today, and I mean, it's a good feeling, man. I've been just really busy outside of the channel. This is more of a leisure hobby type deal as of right now. But I do want to talk about a lot of these fights, and this is where my outlet to do it. So let's do it. We're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about Conor McGregor announcing his retirement. We're going to talk about Dana White reacting to McGregor's retirement and a lot of the biggest stars' complaints. Jorge Masvidal has been complaining about his offer to fight Kamaru Usman recently. John Jones was complaining about his pay to fight Francis Ngannou recently. And this whole pandemic has really got the UFC in a position of losing money as far as the live gates and all of the attendance money is concerned. You know, they sell drinks, revenue, they sell all sorts of merch, tickets, all of that revenue is lost with this whole coronavirus pandemic. But with that being said, a lot of the fighters now are being asked to take less money than they would if not for this pandemic. And a lot of the biggest stars are not okay with that, including Jorge Masvidal, who's said he's being offered less money to fight for the title than he made his last fight when he fought Nate Diaz, which was not for a title. Um, Also, John Jones wanted to be paid more money to go up a weight class and take on the challenge of Francis Ngannou, that was not going to be a title fight. But the UFC is just saying no to a lot of these guys right now. But first, we're gonna talk about 3 title fights that Dana White recently announced. All 3 of these title fights, UFC 251. We're going to have Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway 2. We're going to have Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. And we are going to have Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo, which that should be Aljamain Sterling. But another topic for another day. Either way, that's a stacked card in itself. We've also got a couple of women's fights on there. We've got Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade, and then Paige Van Zant's fighting somebody. I don't remember who it is. Maybe Amanda Ribas or something. So we're going to talk about those fights. Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier 3 was recently announced for UFC 252. And one of the things I really want to talk about is UFC 250 that just happened this past weekend. Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley, Cody Garbrandt. I mean, we just had bantamweight galore on display. A lot of the top prospects and stars were on display at UFC 250 of the bantamweight division, and they impressed. I mean, we'll start with Aljamain Sterling. He's one of the 2 UFC fighters we've actually interviewed on this channel. We've interviewed Aljamain Sterling and Sean O'Malley. They both fought on the pay-per-view. They both got first-round finishes. That was pretty fucking awesome for you know, from a full-time family perspective. But Aljamain Sterling, we're going to jump off talking about UFC 250 that happened this past weekend, some of the results and some of the implications. Aljamain Sterling defeated Corey Sandhagen, first round finish. We got to break down Aljamain Sterling because it pisses me off. He is a dark horse of the highest order. He is disrespected constantly by even Uncle Chill. Big Dog Chill, love his YouTube channel, but when he talks about the bantamweights, he does not mention Aljamain Sterling enough, almost to the level of disrespect to where he'll mention Peter Yan and Sandhagen and Aldo and leave Aljo out of that video. I've seen it before this fight countless times, and it's unfortunate because Aljamain Sterling has deserved this title shot for fight after fight after fight at this point. It's just politics why he's not getting it. Henry Cejudo was tying up the division. TJ Dillashaw had this to do. Then he had to go fight Cejudo. So now, since it's a super fight, Aljamain can't get his title shot. Now this guy's got to get a title shot. So, Aljamain just fighting, tough fight, #1 contender. Jimmy Rivera after #1 contender. He's 18-3 right now, Aljamain Sterling. He could easily, or if he's 15-3, whatever, he's got 3 losses. He could easily be undefeated. His only 3 losses are all debatable, all questionable, including the knockout. The first 2, split decision losses. The other one, Marlon Moraes admitted in his post-fight speech that that was not the knee he intended to throw. That was an accidental KO. That was an accidental knockout. So all 3 of Aljamain Sterling losses, none of them he was just getting beat from wire to wire. 2 were split decisions. 1 was an accidental KO. If those accidents didn't happen and split decisions are bullshit because you tend to see minority fighters, and I'm not on no racial shit, but what I'm saying is whether it's the judges are racially biased, whatever the fuck it is, you see guys like Jorge Masvidal and Aljamain Sterling get robbed a lot more than guys like fucking Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Where's their fucking split decision losses? Anyways, Aljo 2 in a row. Masvidal like fucking 6 split decision losses in his career. It's utter bullshit, and that's why Aljamain Sterling is getting denied title shots and shit like this. But he comes out here and he performs. He pulled off the calf slicer submission, and then now he comes out here. A lot of people were picking Corey Sandhagen, giving him more respect than he deserved as far as Aljamain Sterling is concerned. Aljamain Sterling has been fighting the best bantamweights in the world and could be undefeated. So he for sure was the favorite going into that fight, and the disrespect is unreal. Now he's earning his way, like Max Holloway, like Tony Ferguson, like Kamaru Usman. He's having to go the long route and fight fucking killers to get there. He's not getting none of the flashy fights. He don't get to fight Cody Garbrandt or none of these guys that, you know, or that he might be able to beat, but it would boost him up to the title shot, and he doesn't have the politics for the title shot on his side. So it's bullshit, but I mean, I'm just extremely happy for Aljamain Sterling and his performance at UFC 250, and what he's saying here is he's not sold on Peter Yan. He's ready to take out the boogeyman at bantamweight. People thought Corey Sandhagen was going to be the boogeyman for Aljamain Sterling for just a second. Now we know that's not the case. But Peter Yan, though, low-key, I'm not going to lie, he is one of the scariest bantamweights. So, I mean, boogeyman of bantamweight, that you could say that that's Peter Yan. Aljamain's the dark horse, but Peter Yan, man, he's one of those guys. I mean, he's got politics on his side. He's getting fast-tracked to a title shot. He clearly got to skip over Aljamain Sterling, and now he's getting to fight Jose Aldo like coming off of a loss to potentially become the UFC's undisputed champion. Peter Yan might be the champion by beating Aldo coming off of a loss, while Aljo has just been getting skipped after skipped after skipped. This should be Aljo's fight, man, but I digress. Either way, no matter what happens at UFC 251 between Aldo and Peter Yan, it's time for Aljamain Sterling to get the title shot, and whoever wins that belt's not the rightful champion until they beat Aljamain Sterling. That just is what it is. That should be an interim belt. Henry Cejudo is still floating around. What's crazy is Henry Cejudo said he'll come back for Peter Yan. So if Peter Yan wins this fight against Aldo, which he's very likely to do, now Henry Cejudo comes back all of a sudden. Now he gets to skip Aljo again. Oh my god, that is the... And then Sterling's going to have to fight like fucking Aldo. Oh god, it's just... It's fucked up, and it's ridiculous because he trains with Matt Serra, who's one of Dana White's good friends, and he's still just getting shit on. Those politics don't matter. It doesn't matter if he's trains under Matt Serra, who's good friends with Dana White. You don't have enough money behind you, buddy. Peter Yan must have Russia behind him. Whatever country he's got behind him, I mean, you got Dillashaw, you got Garbrandt, their marketability, whatever. Aljamain Sterling is getting straight fucking doo-dooed on as far as his title shot is concerned, and it looks like it can continue to happen if Henry Cejudo decides to come back all of a sudden, but Aljo deserves a title shot. With that being said, we've got a lot more to talk about. I need to hurry up. I got to get to bed. I mean, I'm using sleep time right now. I'm supposed to be asleep for one of my jobs right now, but it is what it is. Cody Garbrandt talks about potential matchups with Peter Yan, Sean O'Malley, TJ Dillashaw, and the one that I'm really the most interested in talking about is Sean O'Malley. TJ Dillashaw, you already lost to twice. Not interested. Peter Yan, I mean, I honestly, whenever I see a guy getting pushed with politics and skipping over guys like Aljamain Sterling, it kind of makes me not like him, even though I know that's the guy we're supposed to like because that's who's getting pushed. But yeah, Peter Yan versus Cody Garbrandt, sure. I mean, I guess if Peter Yan loses, Cody Garbrandt versus Peter Yan could make sense, but Peter Yan's probably going to knock Cody Garbrandt out. But the fight that I really want to see, especially because Sean O'Malley has just become so, just even beyond what I thought he was going to. I knew he was going to be good and had potential to be a star, but I didn't realize he was already this fucking good. I did not know Sean O'Malley was this good, man. That whole USADA stupid thing was a blessing. It allowed him to heal up, get 100%, and just sharpen his skills. He's dangerous everywhere. He's got great jiu-jitsu. He knocks you out. The similarities of his striking and Conor McGregor's have been pointed out through videos, and it's scarily similar, almost like they were created by the same fucking person playing the UFC game, create a character. They built a featherweight Conor McGregor, and then they built a bantamweight Sean O'Malley, just a longer version. But there's so many similarities, and they knock motherfuckers dead. Literally, he bounced Eddie Wineland's head off of the canvas. It's crazy. That's man, fucking Sean O'Malley, just fucking rainbow hair came out. It's crazy, man. This kid gets it. He's willing to market himself. He not only markets himself with good trash talk, he's got a look, which it's hard to have a unique look in this day and age with the whole Reebok era and everyone having to wear the same suit unless you can fucking get lucky and beat someone's ass until you get some camo pants, or everyone kind of looks the same, and Sean O'Malley's still able to come out, brand himself, viral knockout on top of that, got the trash talk, still young. What the fuck more do you need in a prospect? I just got great jiu-jitsu. Cardio just improved clearly. We didn't get to see much in this last fight because of the first round knockout, but he's had the time to improve his cardio, and he's talked about his cardio in his most recent interviews, talked about how he's improved his cardio and how he's dangerous in all aspects, including cardio. So he's very aware of cardio. So to be out for that length of time, you're going to be improving your cardio as well as all your other skills. I mean, he's 22, 23 years old. It is insane the trajectory this kid has, man. He's so dangerous, and that's why a potential fight with Cody Garbrandt would be so perfect, because Cody Garbrandt is dangerous. He's fast. Dangerous matchup for Sean O'Malley. Keeps his hands down, but at the same time, Sean O'Malley's a dangerous matchup for Cody Garbrandt because he can knock you out. We know Cody can be knocked out. Sean O'Malley has a whole lot to gain and nothing to lose fighting Cody Garbrandt. He's coming in there to style on the styler. That would be I would buy a pay-per-view if it had Cody Garbrandt versus Sean O'Malley. I would cash out the $60 and pay for that pay-per-view because that would be such a fucking phenomenal fight. So the UFC can wait to book it. They can book it now. Garbrandt just got a knockout win after 3 losses. This would be honestly the perfect time to book that fight. It would give Sean O'Malley a potential slingshot into the upper tier of the rankings. Oh, man. Just that would be phenomenal, and that's what Sean O'Malley also talked about recently. He said he believes he would knock Cody Garbrandt out, but there's no way he takes that fight. And this just shows me also Sean O'Malley's awareness of the game as far as matchmaking is concerned. He's already looking at this from Cody Garbrandt's shoes. This is a lose-lose for Cody Garbrandt. He's got nothing to gain and everything to lose. It's a win-win for me. If I lose, I lost to a former champion. If I win, I beat a former champion. So that's a win-win for O'Malley and a lose-lose for Garbrandt. And so Sean O'Malley has the awareness to realize, hey, Cody Garbrandt's not going to take this fight right now. It's too dangerous for him. But he's also putting it out in the public that, hey, I'll knock this guy out, to still potentially challenge Cody Garbrandt's ego He's talked about Garbrandt being emotional and try and still lure him into this fight, man. Sean O'Malley is killing the fucking game. We haven't seen this in a long time. Somebody that gets it like this. It's wow. It's rare. This is a rarity, man. This is a rarity. I mean, this is very rare, man. He's got a lot of potential. I hope it all pans out. But even if it doesn't, man, this kid's got a bright future. His YouTube channel is a source of revenue. His Twitch channel, source of revenue. I mean, worst case scenario, this man is still branding himself outside of the octagon, just doing everything right, firing on all cylinders. This kid is fucking phenomenal, Sean O'Malley. Henry Cejudo willing to return from retirement to seek third title against Volkanovski. Okay, I was under the impression it was Peter Yan, so that's good for Aljamain Sterling that he's not talking about coming back and fighting Peter Yan, but he still could. Cejudo coming back to 145, taking on a young fucking, not even young, but just a unit that is Alexander Volkanovski. This motherfucker is just a beast. Huge. That would be a hell of a challenge for Henry Cejudo. But what I don't understand is why Volkanovski. What if Max Holloway wins? What if Max Holloway wins this fight? Would Cejudo fight? Max Holloway would probably be a bigger fight. Triple C trying to transform into C4 here. I mean, Volkanovski and Holloway, too, is going to be fighting at UFC 251. So, Henry Cejudo might be getting a little bit ahead of himself, saying that he will come out and fight Alexander Volkanovski. He said, I've done everything in MMA. I'm satisfied with my career. There would only be one fight that would really bring me back, and that would really wake me up in the morning, other than Ryan Garcia. And that would be Alexander Volkanovski, the overgrown midget. I would love to make him bend the knee. He's already halfway there. Cejudo with the short midget jokes. Wow. Firing. No shame. I see you, Cejudo. All right, but you guys, we've got to move on. We've got a few other things we got to talk about, and I got to get to bed. Dana White, Conor McGregor having a little bit of a back and forth. Conor McGregor, of course, you all know, has recently announced another retirement. This time, Conor McGregor really, I mean, there's a lot of ways we could dive into this. Is it another bender? Conor McGregor, has he had sleep? Is he drunk? We never know the state of mind he's in when he makes these statements. That's always one thing. He could have been stone cold sober, though. This could be a legitimate retirement from Conor McGregor. I highly doubt it. But if it is, well, what are the reasons? I mean, the reasons for McGregor that he's given is the fight game is not exciting anymore. There's no fights that excite him. Nobody's making him want to return. And that's can't be it, man. Jorge Masvidal staring you right down in your face, so if that's going to be your excuse, then you must not want any smoke with either Jorge Masvidal or Kamaru Usman. Or, I mean, Conor saying he wants to fight Gaethje. But how convenient Justin Gaethje is the interim champion. That's the one guy on the roster he cannot fight right now. Nate Diaz is coming off of a loss. If Nate Diaz would have beat Masvidal, Conor McGregor would be gung-ho to come back and fight Nate Diaz, because he would not only have all that additional momentum, but it's a winnable fight, lower risk for Conor McGregor. Jorge Masvidal is a high-risk fight for anybody, including extremely high risk for Conor McGregor. Jorge Masvidal might do really bad things to Conor McGregor. He might show you the difference between a motherfucking street, backyard, thoroughbred, game bred, get it out the mud fighter versus a Irish athlete fighter that can talk trash and, ain't really, ate blueberries and shit. But it ain't the same. It's not the fucking same. The path wasn't the same. The resumes ain't the same. The robberies wasn't the same. The politics wasn't the same. The matchmaking wasn't the same. Nothing. You got somebody that's been hungry his whole life versus somebody that is very comfy right now. Very, very comfy. And so that is a dangerous fight. Masvidal is a dangerous fight for Conor McGregor. So that's probably not very exciting. Might not be easy to get excited to fight somebody that's a killer. That you know is, I mean, I'm not saying Nate Diaz isn't a killer, but somebody that is a higher risk. Other than that, what is there from McGregor? Can't fight Gaethje, he's the interim champ. Can't fight Khabib, he's the real champ. All you can do is wait. So Conor saying, fuck it, I'm retiring. And maybe it's just what he can do in the meantime because he's got nothing else to do. You know, what else is he going to do besides retire? Just sit here and say I'm waiting on something? It's another way to get headlines. Who knows? Either way, we will see. I think Conor McGregor will be back. There's too many fights left on the table. Mayweather rematch, Nate Diaz trilogy, Khabib rematch. There's too many fights left for Conor McGregor as far as big money fights for him to actually be turning them in right now. So I don't believe he's retiring, but hey, it is what it is. We've also got another one of the biggest stars in the sport, thanks to the MMA gods, Jorge Masvidal, claiming the UFC wants him to take less money for a title fight. Dana White is responding. Masvidal made a lot of money to fight Nate Diaz at Madison Square Garden, and for that compensation and that performance where he won that fight, he expected to continue to be paid, if not that amount, more for a title fight. Now that this whole coronavirus pandemic has hit and the fans are out of the seats, the UFC is, like a lot of people, looking to have to make pay cuts. They're not earning as much revenue as they once were. They're not selling out stadiums. They're not selling as much merch potentially anymore. And so for that, they're offering fighters less money. They're not offering them big-ass raises like some fighters might be asking for. And so it's a little bit of a predicament Jorge Masvidal and guys like John Jones are in, who want more money, and the UFC is saying we can't give it to you. Masvidal, though, is bringing out the big guns. He's bringing out the big guns. This is the type of shit that fighters normally don't bring up. The UFC don't like when these talks go public. Masvidal's talking about revenue share percentages compared to other sports, and how the comparison is not the same. And this is what Masvidal had to say. Me and the UFC have been talking since the end of December about the next couple fights. Numerous ideas got tossed around the room several times back and forth. I said yes to everybody they offered me. I said yes, I will compete and fight against anybody you want. When it came to the numbers and a couple times we had differences, a couple other fights just fell through, and this current fight, they're just not wanting to play ball at all. They want me to take less money than I did on my last fight, but I'm fighting for a world championship. A lot of things just don't add up. And here he says, he said, basically, it's not that I'm asking for more money, it's that I'm asking for a bigger revenue share for what we bring in. I've got a lot of questions, and one of them is NBA, NHL, baseball. They make 50% of what the organization, of what the players bring in. I think it's 47%, mine is 18%. I have these questions in my mind, like, why so much to put the cage up cost so much to set up? What is so much? I want these questions answered. He's talking about the production cost. He's saying, what do you need 82% of the revenue for? Is it just for the cage? Is it for the speakers? Is it for the cameras? What are you renting cameras? Do you not have the same cameras already purchased? Is it all of that going to salary? Who's making all of that salary? Jorge Masvidal is starting to ask the questions, the hard questions. When the media takes these questions and runs with them, and the fans take these questions and run with them, and the fighters take these questions and run with them, that's when unions start to form. And for someone as big as Jorge Masvidal to be asking these questions, it's really going to put a spotlight on these things. And That's, I believe, partially why politics are in play to not let fighters like Masvidal take over. Because they know they can't control him. He's hip to the game. He's been through it. He knows what he's doing. He's got a good manager. If you're not somebody that the UFC can trust, then they might not want to put you in these positions because they don't want you to bring light to this type of shit. Masvidal's asking those heavy questions. Dana White's responding. He said, being the financial wizard that Masvidal is, I'm assuming his numbers are correct. He said, here's the thing with Masvidal. We just signed a new deal with Masvidal. Masvidal just signed a new 8-fight deal. He's got 7 fights left on his deal. My people were working with him and trying to get a deal done with him when he already has a deal. John Jones has like 7 fights left on his deal. He just signed a new deal less than a year ago. And that's interesting. He's saying both Masvidal and John Jones, the two guys complaining, just signed brand new shiny deals. Brand new. So you can't agree to something and then as soon as you're done with the agreement say, actually, I want to renegotiate. I feel like I'm a little more valuable. I want to renegotiate now. But now we don't know all the terms. Dana White's a sneaky snake. He could be they could have got a new deal, and the UFC could be trying to offer him some lowball still. Like, hey, we need to. Is it okay if we make this adjustment and pay you this for this fight? They could be saying, hey, in the contract we said these are for non-title fights, and if you fight for the title, we're going to pay you more, and now we can't do that. We don't know the exact negotiations. But I know Masvidal's asking those tough questions. And I like to see that shit low-key. 3 title fights announced, and the location of Fight Island is going to be in Abu Dhabi, an island off of Abu Dhabi. 3 title fights at UFC 251. We've got Usman versus Burns. We've got Volkanovski versus Holloway 2. And we've got Aldo versus Peter Yan, which should be an interim title fight because Triple C is the true kingpin right now. And it shouldn't even be the interim title fight because Aljamain Sterling should be in there, but we already talked about that earlier. Still going to be an interesting fight. But yeah, all 3 of those title fights, I guess I should say 2, that Aldo Peter Yan really doesn't feel like a title fight. That's more of a title fight for looks. 2 title fights on this card. Gonna be a good card. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Fight Island is officially intact. We're gonna start being able to have foreign fighters fighting again. You know, the ones that couldn't be cleared to enter the U.S. because of the pandemic. Now they'll be able to clear to go to Abu Dhabi because you know them Arabs got the oil money and they are willing to pay for a good show. And I'm sure they'll probably be able to have Khabib over there and all type in that jump because you know they'd love him in Abu Dhabi over there, being the biggest Muslim athlete on the planet. So yeah, man, Fight Island is up and running. UFC, as in seashores. With that being said, I think that's it, man. Oh, Stipe Miocic, Daniel Cormier 3. UFC 252. It's happening. Stipe's done firefighting the corona. He's back. His gym is opened up. He's ready to train. And he's going to be taking on Daniel Cormier in the trilogy fight. This is going to be a good trilogy because, of course, Daniel Cormier knocked Stipe Miocic out in the first round in their first bout. And then in the next bout, Daniel Cormier was winning the first 3 rounds. He was dominating the fight. And then he had no answers when Stipe Miocic started delivering the body shot that shut Daniel Cormier down. Body shot after body shot after body shot. Daniel Cormier could not duck, he could not cover, he could not figure anything out to block that body shot, and Stipe Miocic just knocked him out. He finished Daniel Cormier, took the belt, won the rematch, and now it is 1-1. These fighters are going to fight again, and the winner will be the UFC's heavyweight champion and potentially the greatest heavyweight of all time. Looking forward to it. UFC 252. With that being said, it is what it is, full-time family. The link to the Discord is in the description. I might start trying to do some individual videos on my phone at my overnight third shift job when I have a little bit of extra time, but really also got to catch up on my sleep and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, guys, if you're wondering, update on the channel, update on your boy Full Time. A lot of you came a long way with me. It's been some years now, from the full time grind, the daily grind. I just want to say, guys, I'm doing great right now, man. I got another promotion today. I mean, a lot of the job I just got, a lot of people retire at, and I'm just using it as a step. Looking into starting my own business outside of this YouTube stuff. I mean, I got a second job that fits my schedule, and it's really laid back, so it's not like I'm killing myself. Both my jobs I love. I'd be blessed to have either one of my jobs, and I've got them both. So just in a great place right now, trying to save up. I got a new car, trying to get that fixed, trying to move. Boom, guys, we're going to be up and running soon, man. Be a new place, stronger internet, more active, just all of the above, man. And I thank you guys for sticking with me, rocking with me in the Discord, the Full-Time Family, man, Troll Buster, Stamina MC, all of you guys, DH, Gary Kindred, John Doe, all of you guys, everybody that's in the Discord, even still to this day, man, it's amazing to me that you guys are still rocking in the Discord after all this time, even though I'm not able to give myself to this channel pause like I once did, you know, every single day. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, guys. Hey, let the Full-Time Family know what you think in the comments. I'm out.